So, yeah, yesterday was a big Star Trek day. Paramount dropped a lot of news about Star Trek. And I don't talk enough about Star Trek. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. The reason why is because I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I'm a little dishonest about Star Trek. I have a friend who has CBS All Access, aka Paramount Plus. And so I don't pay for that service. And the reason why is because the only thing I would ever watch on that service is Star Trek. Okay? All the original Star Trek stuff. So, when I know the Star Trek season is rolling around, I re download the app onto my cellular device, my cell phone, and I just type in his account, and he lets me use it, and we're fair about it, and then after that, I stop using it. That's just literally what happens every year with Star Trek. Because that's the only thing I'd watch on there. And I know people might be like, that's dishonest. You probably shouldn't do that. I know a lot of streaming services hate when people do that. But my thought is like, bull crap. I mean, these companies make millions of dollars, number one. And number two, it's like someone is still paying for their service. You know, someone is still watching the content and you're still getting money. So it's like, you need to calm down. I know these companies are trying to crack down on that, stop that. I know, but it's like, it's ridiculous to me in my mind. Because at the end of the day, someone is still paying you. You still have millions of dollars. You may be losing like one customer, but at the end of the day, you're still getting money from me watching it because it's someone else's account. So someone is still paying you for what I watched. It's ridiculous of you to say, oh, you're stealing. Ooh, no, I'm not. Stealing is when I pirate it or like actually steal it. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyways, this was a big day. They dropped 3 news stories. Picard season 2 dropped, and not season 2, the teaser trailer for season 2 dropped. We got some big news. I'm not going to go into that news because I felt like that news was pretty cool, but I was also kind of like, I could have, would have liked that as like a cool surprise from an actual trailer. Like, they don't show that in the trailer very much, the big news. You can look it up if you want. I'm not going to say it. But it was kind of like, but I would like you to actually show me this in a really good trailer for the show, you know what I mean? Like season 2 trailer, and I have this big news story for something that's not coming out till 2022. Cool, and that's because the season just started shooting. I'm pretty excited about it. Can't wait for Picard season 2. I actually just rewatched Picard season 1. Really enjoyed that season. Yeah, Next Generation is my favorite era of Star Trek. It's like the one I watch first because it's always the one I hear referenced and talked about the most. So I watched, Next Generation first, and then I watched the original series. And I appreciate the original Star Trek series, with William Shatner and stuff. The original Star Trek trilogy of original movies, but Next Generation movies and the Next Generation series and all that, I appreciate that way more than I ever appreciated the original series. A lot of it's very dated in a lot of areas, and still fun to watch though. I like Star Trek, so I like the original series and stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. We got a date announcement that this fall we are Lower Decks is getting a season 2. It was also renewed for season 3, but season 2 is coming out this year, which is pretty cool. I really enjoyed that show. I was surprised how much I enjoyed that show because a lot of people were like, no, this is a Rick and Morty ripoff. If you watch the show, number one, they're nothing alike. They just have like a similar art style, and it's a really great Star Trek parody made by really hardcore fans. I mean, the stuff that they do with it is brilliant stuff. I mean, I can't believe some of the references they're able to do and get in there. Just little in jokes that fans have pointed out for years but only the biggest fans would ever point out and notice. And so it's kind of like, wow, I can't believe they put this into a show. It took me multiple viewings of the episodes to even get half of the jokes and references they were doing. It was some really smart Star Trek content right there. And I know some people took that a wrong way because it's the first ever Star Trek comedy series. But I'm kind of like, I'm not too adverse to like a comedy Star Trek series. Like this, at a certain point you should have fun with your franchise. Star Trek's been around for like over 50 years. It's okay to have one series that doesn't take itself super seriously. They have fun with it. I mean, because at the end of the day, Galaxy Quest is like, a lot of people consider that one of the best Star Trek movies. And it's not a Star Trek movie, but it's like a parody of a Star Trek movie, but it's so good that people consider it a Star Trek movie. It's a really fun movie, and so I like, adding more comedy to the Star Trek franchise. I don't see what's wrong with it. I know there's like a group of people that are kind of like, I'm too averse to it. I don't get it, but I still really like this series. Discovery Season 4 got a trailer announcement. Out of all the major running Star Trek series, Discovery has been my least favorite, but I've really enjoyed it still. Where they left Season 3 off really makes me anxious to see this next season. The teaser trailer they dropped for this was pretty good. I'm excited about it. I'm a big fan of the show. I think if Season 1 had been a lot better, especially some of the earlier episodes, I think less people would be so salty on it, because once you get to about Season 2, and Season 3, you get something really great out of the Star Trek universe. Huge Star Trek fan, and I'm really excited for where they're going with this series. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool to have like a Star Trek holiday where Paramount announced a bunch of stuff yesterday, which was great because we have that stuff for Star Wars where they announce stuff, and there's like a May the 4th, and they drop Star Wars content, and they announce trailers, and there's also like Star Wars Celebration. They have that stuff for Star Wars, but it's kind of like, why isn't that for Star Trek? There's a huge fan base for Star Trek. I wouldn't say as equal as Star Wars, but it's up there, and so I don't get why we don't kind of like do the same thing. And so now it seems like Paramount's like, yeah, you're right, we should do that, and I really enjoy that. I'm excited to have more kind of Star Trek events like this where they'll do that and announce more projects and put out trailers and put out fan news and announce cool stuff about their shows, because I think Star Trek is surely lacking lately in the fan community and excitement of the stuff with the Star Trek community, because I think a lot of the fan base is divided on a lot of these shows. I get why they're not I think they are missing the heart a little bit, because a lot of these shows are aimed a lot older demographic than the older Star Trek shows, so it's harder for like families to watch these together. I understand that perspective from older fans, and I understand like that these shows are kind of just different, and they're kind of more cynical and things like that, and it's kind of hard to, because the fun of Star Trek, it was always so optimistic, but that's kind of not what these newer shows are. I get kind of this perspective from these older fans, but it's still good content. It's different, but it's still good content, and it's not so different that it's not Star Trek. I think it's a really great part of the universe, and I think people should calm down a little bit, and you can have your criticisms, you cannot like the shows, but at the end of the day, this is just where Star Trek's at. You can either like it, hate it, but you don't need to like overly criticize it all the time. Be like, the new Star Trek sucks. It's like, well, okay, but are you really watching the new Star Trek? Or are you just saying that because you want to be annoying butthole about everything? So, I don't know. But I'm very excited to see what happens with all these shows. Probably won't be reviewing this stuff because I'm not too into like reviewing Star Trek content. But yeah, I could do that, but a lot of the details with it is because of my the way I use Paramount Plus, aka CBS All Access, but Paramount Plus now. But I don't want to advertise that way of doing things because I think a lot of people are so averse to it. I'm not, but I think a lot of people are, and so I try not to like advertise that I do that. But yeah, I am really excited about these shows. More Star Trek, the better. I just want another Star Trek movie. Let's get Star Trek back on the big screen, please. If we can do that, that would be great. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and the newer J.J. Abrams trilogy, I think those were not very good. I like Beyond somewhat. I like Star Trek somewhat, the 2009 one, and then Into Darkness, absolute garbage. But I'm really excited to see what happens with the Star Trek fandom and communities. I've just become so excited in the world of Star Trek lately, and I'm excited to delve more into it. And I just watched Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the director's cut today for the first time. That was pretty cool. I'm just really excited about all this stuff. So let me know what your current favorite Star Trek series, current running one, is. Your favorite Star Trek movie. My favorite is Wrath of Khan. I know that's kind of like a generic one, but I think Wrath of Khan is such a good Star Trek movie that I think even non-Star Trek fans love the Wrath of Khan. Like, I've seen people be like, I hate Star Trek, and then you like show them Wrath of Khan, and they're like, yeah, I love that movie, but I still hate Star Trek. That's how good that movie is. I think that's why I hate Star Trek Into Darkness. Like, they try to remake Wrath of Khan, and it was just like, really? This is ridiculous. But, yeah. My favorite series is Next Generation. My favorite movie is Wrath of Khan. And then, my favorite current running series is... I'm going to say Lower Decks. I really enjoyed the kind of in-jokes and smart writing that goes on that show. I mean, Picard's was I think the best running show, objectively speaking, but I think Lower Decks is just the most fun show. What looked like a clone of another show, it was just absolutely brilliant and one of the best pieces of the Star Trek franchise that I've seen in a very long time. I'm really excited about all this stuff. So yeah, you can let me know what your thoughts on all this stuff is. Let me know what your favorite current running Star Trek show, what your favorite Star Trek show in general is, what your favorite Star Trek movie. Have you seen Galaxy Quest? Go watch that movie if you haven't. It's a great movie. Dang it, now I'm mad I don't own Galaxy Quest. I want to watch that movie again. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all that, and I'll see you guys next time.